So these 4 boxes arrived a couple of weeks ago, and I was asked if I'd like to try out what's in them. And I'll tell you what it is shortly if you haven't guessed already. But since I've had my channel, I've been asked to try all kinds of odd things like clothes, health food. There was some really dangerous metal cutting devices that you would put on a grinder, and I don't want to try that. Just odd things. So I also have tried out a couple lasers, and I really enjoyed doing that. This is another laser machine, different than the rest, I think. This was sent to me by Two Trees. This is a Two Trees TS2. Well, I looked it up before I said yes, and it has an automatic focus adjustment. You push a button, it goes down, it touches your work, it comes back up, and it's in focus. So that was very interesting. They also said it'll come with a rotary device that has a chuck on it. That really interests me as well, because I can see using that on some wood turnings to do some hopefully interesting things. They said they'd put a honeycomb bed in it and an air assist. Now I think that's the rotary, and I think that's the air assist. I have not opened these boxes. I'm not going to make you watch me open the boxes, and I'm not going to make you watch me put this together. I take my time. I don't take all day, but I've heard it many times, oh, I put that together in half an hour. Well, I wouldn't even want to put it together in a half an hour, because the nice thing about it, assembling it, is you get to know your piece of equipment. So that's what I'll do. And I'm not going to show you everything in one video. It would just be too rushed, because I want to spend some time, I think that's the rotary, on that, because I think there's some really cool things that can be done. So I'll be back, and when I am back, this will be put together, and we'll see if we can make something with it. I think you can see I've got it put together, and it was actually pretty easy. And some of the things that made it easy was the belts were already in these channels here. You just had to hook up the system here, had to hook the belt to this after you installed it. Pretty easy, pretty basic. All the bolts are marked. Oh, this needs this size, so you put it there. Kind of almost like paint by numbers. So some of the things that are on here I'll point out. This is the electronics. This is the on-off button. You just twist it and it comes on. Can be an emergency shut-off. The really cool things, it has the drag chains on here for where the wires run through there. It keeps the wires out of the way. And then it has this water faucet. It's not a water faucet. It looks like a water faucet, but you're going to see how cool that is shortly. Watch these drag chains, what they do. You don't have any wires flopping around. And this one as well. So I like that a lot. I'm going to push this out of the way, and I'll show you some of the things they sent with this. And again, I want to mention that they sent this to me just to try out. I'm not getting paid to do this, and I'm not sponsoring this. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. They sent this honeycomb bed as an accessory. Now this honeycomb bed is aluminum, so the magnets will not stick to it. And it's kind of nice, the magnet ones. I actually purchased one of these before I got this little kit, and I like the magnets. But one of the first things we're going to make is some hold downs when you don't have the steel bed. So they work pretty good. They sent this, which is the air assist. That's real handy for cutting. Now, lots of little goodies. There was this little bag of goodies here, picture frame, some tags, little wood discs, little odds and ends. They sent air assist was in this bag. Pretty cool. This, I'm assuming, is to be done on the rotary table, which I'm not showing today. That's going to be quite involved. And the other thing I believe is for the rotary table is some rings. So we'll probably do that in another video. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to hooking up that rotary device and trying it, but guess what? I haven't even taken it out of the box. So let's get this set up. We'll cut a couple things and you can see it in action. I've got the computer hooked up, I've got light burn running, and as soon as I tell it which port to be on, it should find it, and then it'll home it like it's doing there. So this has homing switches. So I'm going to move this just a random spot. That's 2mm ply. I'm going to hit the button here, it says 2mm ply. It's going to go down and touch it. Lifts up and stops right there. That is now set at the right height. Okay, let's go ahead and cut these parts out. The settings were 300 millimeters a minute at 100% power. It cut 6 of these little parts in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Just for a simple test, I didn't run the air assist on the first 3, but I did the second, and you can see there was a little charring on the first ones, but not the second ones. So here's the reason why I just made those. I've bought a couple units of these, and it seems like they all are warped like this. I took an image of one of these and then brought it into Lightburn and made my own file, and I adjusted it to fit the openings here. Okay, that worked good. So let's go ahead and cut some more things. I downloaded some free laser cutting files. This is a Christmas ornament. I used the same settings of 300 millimeters a minute and 100% power. Interesting that the software told me that I had 46 inches of cuts. About that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm making a template here for wood turning, and there's a combination of methods. I'm engraving some letters and I'm cutting the shape out. The letters were at 4,500 millimeters a minute, 40% power. The cutting was at 300 millimeters a minute, 100% power using air assist. So as a wood turner, I use a lot of templates. Stay tuned for an upcoming video where I use this template. I decided to try to make a puzzle. This is a picture in Colorado. In 2018 we did what we call our canyon trip. We went to Arizona, Colorado, and Utah and visited a lot of canyons. I'm cutting this at my standard speed for one cut, which is 300 millimeters a minute and 100% power with air assist. And it took 9.5 minutes. You may have noticed that I programmed the speed in millimeters, and I'll do measurements in inches. The reason is I'm really used to inches, but when I started setting these up, it just seemed like all the information I was finding was in millimeters. But it's easy enough to switch to inches, because if you think about it, 10,000 millimeters is about 400 inches, 1,000 is about 40, and 100 is about 4. So 3 times 4 is 12 inches a minute. So eventually I'll just switch to doing that. How about that? We'll go ahead and go over the things we just made. These are the little hold downs. Now, these were a lot of fun, and they're very useful because you kind of need these on the aluminum honeycomb beds. But what I liked about this as well is I had to adjust the width of this and made it a little bit smaller in Lightburn, and do that without making that too small. So it's kind of like it's got its own little mini CAD program in it, and I do like doing that. So these turned out great. Then I did the star, which I think that is really cool. It's just, the detail is just amazing. It actually looks better this way. Shows up better. So that's nice. I used the CAD portion of Lightburn to add this eyelet on there because they were all points. And I figured you might as well have a place to hang it from. I like that so much. I took the scrap, scaled the model down, and made a second one, which is a bit smaller. Then something very useful was this template for a 2-inch diameter, which I did say that this is next on my list for a turning I plan on doing. So that was cool. And then we have the puzzle. Well, you probably want to see that put together. And look at that. In the blink of an eye, I put that thing together. And I'm not that good at putting puzzles together. But that, I think, is pretty nice. And I love that picture. And I'll show you the picture without all the puzzle lines in it. Because, wow, that was an amazing trip we went on. I'm really happy with everything this machine has produced here today. I love this puzzle, but I love that picture, and I love the trip we went on when I took that picture. This little template, that's going to come in handy for an upcoming wood turning video. I measured across there, it's exactly 2 inches. These little stars, I think they are just cool. They will be hanging on our tree as soon as we get it up. And then the little hold downs, they worked great, and they were definitely needed. So this is the Two Trees TS2 laser engraver. Did an amazing job, if you ask me. I'll put a link in the description for their webpage. You can check it out and get more information than I probably provided. And there should be a link for a discount as well. There will be a follow-up video because I need to assemble the rotary device, hook it up, and figure out how to use it. So that's going to be coming up. I'm not sure if it's next week or the following week, but also don't forget, all Fridays are wood turning videos, so make sure you watch for those as well. I hope you got something out of this, because I certainly had a lot of fun playing with it.